on Friday was that after being accused of crossing state lines, killing 2 people, and wounding another last year during a Black Lives Matter protest, Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all counts. Okay. Yeah, okay, cards on the table. I'm not a legal expert, so I can't tell you whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse broke the law. But I can tell you this, if he didn't break the law, we should change the law.
Hello, everyone. My name is Swamp, and boy, oh boy, has it been a busy few days in the Rittenhouse salt mines.
This isn't going anywhere. This discussion is going to be ongoing because it actually now involves everybody.
Wow.
Black people, white people, yellow people, red people, orange people. Everybody now is on the line. Everybody.
Today, we're going to hear from experts, politicians, some regular people, and even a reverend, I believe. So let's get to mining.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Now, Hollywood is reacting to the verdict on social media.
And knowing what I know about Hollywood, I'm going to say it's going to be mostly positive.
Including Shameless actress Emmy Rossum.
Shameless? What did she do?
Who tweeted, "This is a devastating blow." LeVar Burton says, "Tell me again there are not 2 kinds of justice in America."
Okay. There's not 2 kinds of justice in America.
Andy Cohen didn't mince words, simply asking, what in the actual f***? As for comedian Kathy Griffin,
look at them trying to figure it out. And Kathy Griffin, this ought to be good.
She summed up her thoughts by writing, "People suck."
Wow, would you look at that? It seems like maybe she learned her lesson.
Filmmaker Ava DuVernay shared a message for the parents of Anthony Huber, one of the men who was killed, writing, quote, "The verdict sends the unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town, incite violence, and then use the danger they have created to justify shooting people in the street."
Okay. I've only got one question. Who the hell is Ava DuVernay?
While actress Yvette Nicole Brown used sarcasm to get her point across. The good news is that white men and boys can still kill whoever they want and do no jail time. Isn't that fun?
Ah, you got him. Got him with that. That is some quick wit. Quick wit. God, how the hell do you say quick wit? Whatever. It was fantastic. Well done.
Want to know who funded the defense team for Kyle Rittenhouse? Let's talk about it. Now stay with me on this one because we're going to build a bridge right back to, you guessed it, Christianity. And according to this article in Newsweek, a Christian site raised over $265,000 for Kyle. How love your neighbor of them. But it doesn't stop there. On this Christian website, they raised over $365,000 for Ashley Babbitt. Starting to see the connections here?
Wow, even I have to admit, those are some compelling connections. But, you know, I've made some connections of my own as well. Now, I'm going to assume that you're probably pro-choice. And if you read here, the Dallas Morning News reports, Satanic Temple challenges Texas abortion restrictions for its members, claiming religious exemptions. Beginning to see the connections here? Reverend Carla?
When the Rittenhouse verdict was announced, Christians took to social media to celebrate, including this mouthpiece who said, "Today we witness actual justice." And did you catch that Madison Cawthorn offered Rittenhouse a congressional internship? That's the same Cawthorn who recently said that we are in a spiritual battle against Democrats. And if that's not concerning enough, Cawthorn also said, "Be armed, be dangerous, be moral." If you're a Christian and not speaking out against this, you're part of the problem.
I am 100% going to be wearing a hat that says "Be armed, be dangerous, be moral" in the next video. Thanks for that.
We are
farmers?
All black people. And so I wanted to make sure that we created some space for anything that we want to say here before we talk about basketball.
Oh, yeah, this is what's going to help with ESPN's plummeting ratings. Fantastic job.
Well, I think that the scariest part about this, like, you know, so many people talk about not being surprised. And if you live in America, if you know the history of America, you're not surprised. I think the scariest part about this is that By saying that he is not guilty, they are saying that everything he did was lawful.
Thank you for that amazing legal breakdown. Not guilty? Yeah, it means it was lawful. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just with all the other players. I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, what we have been going through, it's just mind-boggling to me, and it's very disturbing that, you know, it's not just a gun, right? We're talking about an AK, something that is very visible, that, you know, you have intents or whatever the case may be. And I just, to be honest, I really don't want to say the wrong thing because I don't want to lose my job, so I'm going to leave it at that.
You heard it here on ESPN. Kyle Rittenhouse had an AK. But why is it that these people always act like, well, if I speak my mind on this, I'm going to get fired? No, you're not. No, you're not. Come on.
I watch, I've seen a number of the videos in connection with that case. Look, the judge, in my view, put his thumb on the scale. And that's not the way justice in the United States ever should happen.
Oh, man. Oh, it's painful. The one intern trying to start a clap and you get like two people. Oh, man.
I'm very concerned about what that verdict does. Now, again, you got to respect the jury's decision. They were called upon to call balls and strikes. You know, I think if I'd seen that evidence, I may have come out with a different result.
See, now, Lori, you just said a moment ago that you had seen the footage, okay?
But let's just back up from this. Why on earth did that child, and that's what he was, child, have an AR-15 or whatever his rifle was, leave his home in Antioch and think that he had the right to go up to another state to supposedly protect the city? That makes no sense to me.
Of course protecting a city doesn't make sense to you, Lori. You're the mayor of Chicago.
And if it's a free-for-all and everybody can simply take matters into their own hands, we're going to devolve into chaos. And that's what I'm concerned about.
Well, Lori, once again, I have to bring up, you don't seem to be too concerned about that in Chicago.
We are joined by two experts who know the field.
All right, everyone shut up. The experts are talking.
Oh, goodness. I mean, where to begin, to be honest? The co-signing of the idea that this was self-defense is really by design, right? We watched the judge really set this up from the very beginning. And of course, that argument of self-defense was both to protect Kyle Rittenhouse, but it was also to give his supporters and people who think like him a lot of cover. I've been seeing today a lot of people using that cover to say, well, self-defense is not white supremacy. You're right. Self-defense on its face is not white supremacy. But traveling across state lines with an AR-15 to intimidate people is absolutely white supremacy.
All right. Going forward, every time somebody gets something wrong about this, like factually wrong, I'm cutting them off and we're going to the next person because this is going to take all day otherwise.
The depths of my rage today are almost uncontainable. I don't know how much brazen hypocrisy we are supposed to take in the name of the law. We live in a country that said that slavery was legal, that said that lynching was legal, that said that segregation was legal. And today we are being asked to say that it is legal and to respect the rule of law because a white boy deputized himself and went out and terrorized people who were actually, using their constitutional right to protest.
The people that were shot were not protesters. Factually wrong. Next person.
No, I went there to be helpful, like a humanitarian or Batman, because they needed me. And I wanted to practice my special skills as a lifeguard, like CPR and stuff like that. And for me, when you go to something like that, you really need to bring a gun, but not just any gun, an AR-15. And it's not like I was just carrying it around willy-nilly and irresponsibly. I just bought a special strap to keep it over my shoulder in case I had to bend over and help somebody. And I don't know why, at a racially tense demonstration like that, anybody would look at me, a nice, clean 18-year-old white boy with an illegally acquired assault rifle, and think that I look threatening. How could I look threatening? I'm an innocent, a babe in the woods, Little Red Riding Hood. But things didn't go down right, and something went bad. But I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, off.
That guy was such a train wreck of wrong that I couldn't look away, to be honest. I'll try to be more on top of it with the next one, because, wow.
I find these people disgusting, Ellie. I'm disgusted at what I'm seeing. It's not just this trial, it's other trials. But this in particular, the fact that white supremacists roam the halls of Congress freely and celebrate this little murderous white supremacist, and the fact that he gets to walk the streets freely, it lets you know these people have access to instituting laws. They represent the legislative branch of this country. What are we to make of that?
Well, I know what to make of that. Everything you just said was wrong, and you should feel bad about how wrong you are about everything. Now, I was able to find one clip, one person who actually got some of this right.
Are you going to condemn the actions of vigilantes like Kyle Rittenhouse?
We're looking at all of it. That was an interesting situation. You saw the same tape as I saw, and he was trying to get away from them, I guess, it looks like, and he fell, and then they very violently attacked him. And it was something that we're looking at right now, and it's under investigation. But I guess he was in very big trouble. He would have been. He probably would have been killed. But it's under investigation.
Wow! Can you believe someone actually was able to just look at the footage right when it came out and be able to make that call? God, he must be some kind of genius or like a fortune teller or something. No one else was able to do that.
We learned a lot of things in this trial that we should sort of go over, and I was just kind of reviewing some of the things that we learned in the trial that were not necessarily public knowledge before that. One, there has been a lot of talk, especially by politicians, about where Rittenhouse was the night of this shooting. And it turned out he was already in Kenosha, that he had family here, including his father, that the gun was here in Kenosha. He did not bring that over state lines. It turned out during this trial that we learned that the gun that he had a hold of, he actually could legally possess, according to the judge and according to the law here, because of the measurements of the gun. Had it been shorter and a short-barreled gun, then it would have been illegal, but because it wasn't, the judge said that that needed to be thrown out, and indeed, that charge of a minor in possession of a gun illegally was thrown out in this case. The jury only looking at those who were injured, those who were endangered, and those who were killed the night in August that Rittenhouse ended up shooting people. We also learned that he was working here that night, that he had stayed over that night here. And we saw some video of, for example, Joseph Rosenbaum, the first person that he shot and killed. We saw drone video, high-resolution drone video that did not come into this case until 5 days into this trial, and that is under contention. There was a mistrial requested because of both what the defense called prosecutorial overreach, and they said they were going to file about this video that appeared very late in the game, the high-resolution version of it. But now none of that matters. They're certainly not going to ask for a mistrial after their client has been acquitted in this case. But we did learn a lot of things from that video because it was very clear what was going on. There was a video of Rosenbaum chasing after Kyle Rittenhouse during this time when he had his gun, and at one point Rittenhouse levels his gun at Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum continues towards him, and as he gets close to Kyle Rittenhouse fires his gun several times. We learned also in the trial that he was hit 4 times, and obviously this is a AR-style rifle that has the capability of firing very quickly.
And all of that information that CNN is just now getting has been openly available to anyone who wanted to look it up for over a year. Over a year. These people are not news. And what was that comment about it's able to be fired very quickly? You can fire it the same as any handgun.
The pioneers gave up their safety, their comfort, and sometimes their lives to build our new West. They were determined to make the new world strong and free, an example to the world